Hey, my name is PolishLynx, welcome to Katawa Shoujo, let's get to it. As class ends, I simply rest my head on my hand and stare out of the window to pass the time. Yeah, the events of previous episodes were not very positive, hopefully it will change, right? It's been a few days since Lilly told me her plans. I haven't been to our ordinary lunchtime hall since then, not that there would be much point. Hanako's been busy with the newspaper club she's newly joined and has even begun talking in class with Naomi every now and then. Nice. Hanako really grew. And we are glad about it. I'm glad about it. I'm super proud of her. Even Lilly, aside from the fact that a meeting between us would have been awkward in any case, has been run off her feet with class representative duties as the summer holidays approach. And now they're just about here. With the end of today's bell, the summer holidays will have begun. I suppose that all I will end up doing will be visiting my parents for the duration and lazing about my old home, now that my previous plans are entirely askew. Meanwhile, Akira and Lilly will be en route to Scotland to live out the rest of their lives there. Hey, you don't... What? How come you assume that's for the rest of their life? Maybe it will not be for the rest of their life. No matter how hard I try to rationalize the idea that once the summer holidays begin, my life will turn to the way it was, it simply refuses to happen. Everyone's moving on with their lives, Lily's rejoining her family, Akira's moving up in her father's business, Hanako's gaining new friends and hobbies, and even Yuko's moving ahead with her university aspirations. Even I'm moving forward in the end. With the grades I've gotten so far in Yamaku, much less after such a rocky beginning, the path to get into the teaching science as a career seems straightforward. I suppose I should at least be happy about that much, but it doesn't really seem to help. Hichan! I quickly stopped my ruminating and turned to face the bubbly voice beside me, putting on the most upbeat expression I could master. As expected, Shizune stands flanking her. I have a sneaky suspicion they want something from me. Hey Misha, Shizune. What's up? Well! Shichan and I were thinking. Since we're just two poor little girls that need help with all the work we've been given just before the holidays begin. Sure, I can help. But Hichan, we really need... What? I think I broke her. Even Shizune raised an eyebrow at her accomplice's shuddering stop in her tracks. So help us, Hichan! I just said I would, didn't I? It's hardly like I have anything better to do. Maybe helping them with their work will help take my mind off the situation. Misha seems genuinely ecstatic with my response, but Shizune's expression is clouded and difficult to read. I mean, she wouldn't understand what's going on, right? I find myself quickly averting my eyes from her own, as it almost looks like a face of pity. Not that it must just be my imagination. This is hardly the first time I've been in the student council room. Indeed, I found myself down here often, either to help Lilly with class rep work, or to sort out one thing or another with the council itself. Now for, it's quite a different place. What the heck is that? Hey. Okay, I actually can't see what brand this is. I need to know. Screenshot, save on the desktop, thank you. And go to the desktop. Zoom. Okay, that didn't help. This is like a camera, a freaking store camera footage. Heihachi or something? I'm not sure. Whatever. Damn. That was a thick bad boy, by the way. And a... Okay, DVD or CD or... drive, I mean. Crazy. Do I have a... I don't think I do. No, I don't have a DVD or CD drive in this laptop, which is fine, really. I have the portable one, actually, so, you know. Let's go. Papers and folders are strewn across every table in the room. Only a solitary little black laptop atop a single desk sticking out from the mess. It looks positively ancient. So, and I'd guess it has been valiantly serving its task in archiving information for years and years. Hey, at least I would say no matter what happens to it, it will probably work still. Can I say that spacebar is so small for? So, what needs doing? This looks like a lot to do. Shuzo's expression becomes determined as she signs. It's a worrying look. Everything, Hichan! But what does it mean, everything? My worry was well placed. Everything, you say. What's left on the desks is what needs to be done. It all needs to be digitally recorded, which is what the laptop is for. Bring it on. I can do this. And I guess I'll be the one doing this. She just says she saw you with the copters in the library a few days ago and that you seemed really good with them. Thank you. Good with copters. I can touch type, I guess, but it still seems like an overestimation of my skills. I mean, I mentioned that before, right? I was like a machine basically while rewriting stuff, so I guess I could do that. Now that I think about it, at my internship, I was doing something similar as well. I could do something like this for a living. Ugh. Too bad that it's not an option, I guess. At least not here. And also, at least not where I could search for it. I was just typing up homework. Yeah. Wait. Shizune was watching me do that. Why? One must know their allies before they can know their enemies, of course. I'm the enemy for. Whoa, that's pretty wise. For once, it's not very hard to work out who said that. Nonetheless, it doesn't seem worth fighting over. Sitting at a computer doing some typing hardly seems on errors as far as tasks to help Shizune and Misha go. Besides, it will help to take your mind off things. Take my mind off things. Take my mind off what things? Misha's face goes blank as she translates this for Shizune, for the latter's response is only to glance away towards the window after briefly signing. Misha's face quickly turns to a smile as she translates back. She was confused, I guess, but Shizune is harder to pin down. I was just thinking you may like to get your mind off the exams, of course. Either way, we must well get into it sooner than later. I'll go along with you. She knows. That's the spirit, Hit-chan. She knows. She definitely knows. I guess... No. Wait. Space works for clicking? What? I haven't checked the spacebar if it moves the text. I can't believe... I was... Enter? No. Enter? No. Why didn't I check the spacebar? And I'm clicking and destroying the mouse. Ugh. Anyway, whatever. I mean, she probably knows thanks to Hideaki, who kind of spends some time with Akira, right? And that's the fifth spreadsheet compiled and saved. Time for the next months. After a little bit of fusing around, we all managed to get a bit more organized. Shizune has been gathering up the loose sheets and thankfully sorting them into a neat pile next to me. Meanwhile, Misha's been handling the manual writing work, her girly pink pen leaving its unmistakable mark on paper after paper. I don't know why I'm clicking so aggressively lately. Once I got myself into a rhythm, this really wasn't so bad. Shizune and Misha also seem to be in the swings of things, wordlessly communicating as they go about their business with fervor. I periodically glance at the sheet beside the laptop, a probably list of student names and matching addresses as I dutifully enter the data written on it. I don't pay a lot of attention to what I'm typing it in until I reach about midway down the page. Hakamichi, class 3. Her family's home in Saitama. My little curiosities ended abruptly as 3 light taps can be heard rapping on the door. Bisha quickly skips over to check who it is, tapping Shizune's shoulder on the way past to let her companion know what's happening. Ah, you're here! Who is it? With a slight pause to enter Shizune's data into the file, along with all the others, I look up to check who's at the door. Lilly. After giving a cursory nod to Misha in greeting, she perks her head up in her trademark manner. Is that Hisao? She's pretty darn good at working out my voice from the smallest of phrases nowadays. Yeah, it's me, hey. The atmosphere feels slightly awkward as she bows. Neither of us knows quite how intimate we should be around each other, given she's leaving in just a matter of hours. This is a fact that, thankfully, neither the oblivious Misha nor the hardworking Shizune pick up on. I'm pretty sure that Shizune knows though, as I said already. So, you've got work to do as well? Unfortunately, I arrived as soon as I could, but my class held me up with a surprise farewell party, and I had to get changed. I glanced down the laptop's clock. It's pretty much the end of lunchtime, so I'm guessing we managed to wrangle the last period off as well. I take it Shizune is here as well? Of course! And I've been here during all of the lunchtime as well. The last comment was really not needed. Shizune's baiting leaned to another argument. I can feel it. I'm sorry I can't be as hardworking as you, Shizune. I'll endeavor to hire more lackeys to do my work in the future. I assure you. Ansley just took the bait, escalating things further. But aren't you the one always outsourcing work to your classmates? The difference is that they choose to help, unlike your tyrannical grip on your own class. That's true. Tyranny works! Even if we did things differently, we still got the same results, right? Not really. Not really. Not really. No. This is school, not a police state. You'll have to remind me when you are appointed class monarch, I'm afraid. You have to seize the power. It's not as good if it's just handed to you. But I guess you wouldn't really understand it, right? You also have to remind me when monarchs were elected into their positions. Lee positively bristles at this. Shizune's two-hit combo forces her onto defense. Yet, for all your wanted power, you cannot get one person to help without forcing him. But Hisao volunteered. He's such a hard worker. He's doing this instead of meaningless socialization, right? Is that so, Hisao? This is bad. I really end up between the rock and the hard place. As much as May paid me to do this, the truth has at least a chance of stopping this argument here and now. It's okay, Lilly. They didn't harass me to come or anything this time. Lilly gives me a disapproving grimace, silently radiating her strong feelings of displeasure in my general direction. She can be quite scary when she wants to be, for thankfully that isn't often. Hichan, you make that sound like it's a regular occurrence. It isn't. In the end, it does matter so long as everything is getting done at a good pace. Let's just get this work over with so we can go home. Shizune snores derisively and gets back to marking off the sheet in front of her, while Lee sighs and finds her way along the room with her hand following the filing cabinets lined along the wall. This would mark the only time I've managed to successfully defuse one of these situations, but the grudging ceasefire built around mutual fear and respect makes this feel more like a cold war than any real peace. I can't take all the credit for Lee's leaving has surely affected Shizune to some extent to make her give up so easily. Months before getting back to my work, I noticed Lee reaching up to grab something from the filing cabinet. I almost offered to help, but her hive gives her ample ability to take it down safely. Once she says the strangely shaped device on the desk beside me, I realize just what it is. Sort of, as she takes the old green covering off and sits down. At first glance, it seems to be an old metallic blue typewriter. This is a Braille one, right? I don't remember how it was called, but it doesn't take me long to realize it's far from ordinary. It has far fewer keys than expected, and those it has show no lettering printed on them. Only the shadows cast by the tiny braille dots on them give a hint to the thing's purpose. Blind typewriter. Oh, this. Well, you're not far off. It's normally called a Perkins Brailler. But it's basically a typewriter for the blind, yes. It presses braille into the page rather than the text, which is why it has fewer keys. That's really neat. She gives a light-hearted grin at my curiosity over it. I do admit that it appeals to my sense of novelty. Without further ado, we each get back to our allotted tasks. The loud clanking of the mechanics in lead braille and the tapping of the laptop's old and work keyboard quickly fill the room. It's a nice atmosphere, really. Everyone knows what they have to do, and Lilly and I get to sit beside each other and exchange the odd word as we walk away. Nostalgic. That's what it feels like. It's pleasant but slightly stained with the knowledge that our time together is nearing its end. Excuse me, Misha. To properly address her, Misha bounces over from the funny cabinet she's peering into, in spite of Lilly's lack of sight. For a moment I think it's strange, but then I realize it's exactly what I do. What's up? Could you ask Shizune where the attendance records for class 3-2 are? I think they've been moved. Okie dokie! And with that, she flitters off to Shizune, who's working at the table behind us. Lily is familiar with the council room, and the efficiency with which she works. Remind me that she, Misha, and Shizune used to all work together in the student council. Maybe this is a fitting end for her stay Yamaku, working away just like she used to, surrounded by those she loves and at least liked. I look up, getting taken off guard by Shizune sorting through a drawer rather than Misha. Sure enough, she plucks out a manila folder entirely blank save for the just barely visible bumps on its front and holds it in front of Lily. Lily's hand flits over to check what it is, her fingers filling out the dots of braille and confirming it's what she asked for. Thank you, Misha. No reply. No reply. That is, save for an odd grin. No. Smile on Shizune's face. A couple of seconds pass before Lily clicks that it isn't Misha behind her but Shizune. Her momentary look of surprise is replaced by a slightly bashful smile. For a few moments the room is all but still and silent. Eventually, Shizune strides back to her workstation and Lily begins typing once again. It only lasted a handful of seconds in all, but it feels like years of communication were made up for in that one silent exchange. That's a nice moment. There, finished. I lean my head back and rub my eyes to try and work away their weariness, staring at that small and rather poor screen as it's taken its toll. Excellent timing. The only thing left is to file this away and I'll have my workload finished as well. Good. I can pack up the trailer and put it away while you do that. Thank you, Hisao. Misha, are you and Shizune far from being done? I look around for the two as I replace the cover of the blader, only to see them waiting at the door. I guess they must be waiting for us. With a minimum of wasted time, we file and pack up everything that remains and join them. Thanks for waiting, you two. We couldn't just take off without you, Hichan. You've been a great help. Shizune notes, approvingly pleased with my efforts. I guess that's the last class representative work done and over with then. That's right. I'll miss you, Lily. I'll think it was fun working with you. Thank you, Misha. It's been good working with you. And Shizune. Shizune thinks of a moment before formulating her response. It's not that she often communicates without thinking, quite the opposite, but this time it's even more considered than usual. Misha looks a little surprised before passing on the message. Shizune says you'd better do your work over there better than you did in here. Far from taking the offensively giggles into her hand. If that's the case, then please tell Shizune to give those still here a little more understanding in the future. Competitive until the last moment. Maybe Shizune and Lee aren't so different after all. says that she'll be checking to make sure you live up to your end of the promise. Then that's how it will be. I'd better be off then. Goodbye, Shizuna. Goodbye, Misha. Hisao. He takes hold of my arm in terms. There being no need for a cane if I'm here to guide her. With a nod farewell to the two, we set off out the door and make our way to the school grounds. As I turn to wave goodbye to them, and Shizuna's gaze lingering on Lilly. They may annoy each other, but family bonds aren't easily broken. Depends on the people for the bonds, really, I think. Who knows? Got all your papers sorted then? Yes, they've all been filled out and handed in. On top of things as always, aren't ya? She gives an earnest smile at the compliment, but he feels as if her happiness is just a winner over the fact that she's fully aware of how much she's leaving behind. It reminds me of how she was like when I first met her. Always smiling. Always that little bit aloof. Always that little distance away from everybody. Even now, she still maintains that air around many others, especially those she's not close to. I had hoped that our time together would have changed that fact. Our pace slows. The two of us coming to a halt in the all but empty school gardens. Hisao, is something the... Well, yes, something is the matter. These words are cut short as I turn up and wrap my arms around her, pulling her tight. I may not usually be given to such impulsive actions, but I just want to be close to her, even if it's the last time I'll be able to. All the other students have retreated to their dormitories and homes, only the ruffling of leaves in the breeze making any sound whatsoever. As I draw back, I can see she has dropped her carefully maintained smile. Her hand hesitates, wanting neither to leave nor to stay on my features. She's putting up a brave show, but her slight trembling gives her away. Lee may be able to control herself well, but even she can't hold her composure together now. This is the woman I've come to love, but also the one who in all too short a time will leave the country forever. I'm sorry, Hisao. It's okay. You've got your own life to lead, after all. God damn it, Hisao! You better don't disappoint me, man. We walk up the hallway in the girls' dormitory hand in hand, our emotions by now largely quelled. Nevertheless, our hands grip each other's much more tightly than before. Faint, muffled voices can be heard from Lily's room, the origins of which are difficult to guess. The moment she opens the door, Hanako bursts through and wraps her arms around Lily, taking her very obviously by surprise. Lily! Lily! Hanako. I'm going to miss Lily! As expected, she's on the verge of tears. Lily gently wraps Hanako's hair with her hand in response, then pulls back and gives a warm, reassuring smile. Looking beyond Hanako, Akira can be seen getting up from the side of Lily's bed and scratching her head. Her eyes turn from Lily and Hanako to me, a stilted weak smile hanging on her face. I try to turn a more genuinely happy look, but the result is probably just the same. So, everything set? Managed to hold back from killing Shizuna? The comment rose an amused giggle from her sister. Yeah, I have everything in order. Yes, I managed not to. Have you packed everything you need? Got the 2 bags right here, but there's still some stuff I left at the Hakamichi's home. I can pick that up while we wait there for tomorrow evening's flight for... Akira gives the 2 large black traveling bags on the floor a hearty pat. She probably came to help pack and make sure everything was in order on Lily's end before going together with her. Lily, will you be okay over there? I'll be alright. I assure you. I'll have Akira looking after me as well, and you know that she's reliable. But don't worry, Hanako. I have your phone number after all, so we can stay in touch. With Akira's help, I could send you things over the internet as well. Hey, don't use me just because you won't learn how to use a computer. Hanako and Lilly both giggled briefly, the mood lightening ever so little. That goes for you too, Hisao. I promise I'll contact you once I'm in Scotland. I know. I'll be looking forward to it. Her offer may be kind, but we both know that this is tantamount to breaking up. Neither of us has any illusions as to how well we'll manage a long-distance relationship. This can't end like this. This can't end like this. With never a word of prompting, the four of us begin the long, solemn walk to the school gate. This just can't end like this. The numerous lamps scattered around the Yamaku grounds fail to do much more than provide pinpoints of light in the otherwise dense darkness. A car parked on the road just outside the school grounds comes into view, its shining black exterior reflecting the dimly lit lamps of Yamaku. I call out to Akira in an effort to alleviate a bit the heavy atmosphere. That your car? What kind is it? Don't know much about cars, do you? It's a Lancer Evo. Okay, that's a nice car. Solid and speedy. Well, it's not as if her comment on my knowledge of the mark. I've never taken interest in them. I mean, I was very much into cars as well, but you know, if something looks to my liking, I know it. That's all really. She gives a small sigh. She's been good. Pity I have to part with it tomorrow. Just like the summer house. You guys were the last to visit before it changed hands. Turning back from my rather faulty attempt at small talk, I glance at Hanako and Lilly following behind us. By rights, Hanako should be leading Lilly, but it's rather definitely the other way around as she clings tightly to Lilly's arms. Arm. It's a depressing sight. So, I guess this is it. Indeed. Although the time for everyone to say their farewells is now. Nobody really wants to take the first step. It's as if the longer nobody speaks, the better the chances of them simply not leaving. Lilly, do you really have to go? I'm sorry, Hanako. I won't be leaving you forever, for I can still call you. Hisao will still be here as well. I know, but Hanako just clutches a little bit tighter to Lilly's arm. After spending so long without anyone to call family, it must be excruciating to have to say goodbye to the one person that was so close. As close to a mother as anyone could have ever been in her life. I would say more like older sister probably, but... Lilly lets out a long, sad breath. All Akira and I can really do is stand by quietly on the sideline, since the only person who can solve this would be Lilly herself. Eventually, Lilly pulls her arm from Hanako's grip and holds both of her shoulders, gently, a much more decisive wave of address than I've ever seen Lilly take with her. Hanako, remember when we first met? When you entered my room for the first time after overhearing my consoling of a friend, you didn't say a single word for the entire night. Even as I poured you tea and talked, you sat silently and simply listened to what I said. It took many quiet meetings like that before you began to open up to me. But I felt some of the happiest moments I've ever felt. I hadn't become your friend because I pitied you, Hanako. I became your friend because I knew you were hiding not just from me, but from everyone. Your ambitions, personality, interests, tastes. I didn't know any of them, and neither did anybody else. As you showed yourself to me, I began to realize the person that you were, and became sure that our meeting was a very special moment. But I... Also, don't mind me, but my teeth are starting to hurt a little bit. Guess I got... I mean, it's been 3 hours after my visit to orthodontist. And you know, the work on the braces again, and now I'm starting to feel it. It's always getting onto me so late. Anyway, Lilly cuts her words short as she brings her hand to Hanako's head and brushes her bangs to the side, gently pressing her lips to Hanako's forehead. As she pulls her head back, leaving Hanako at all but speechless, and her eyes moist, Lilly beams a wide smile. I believe you are a very beautiful person, Hanako, and I am certain that you will become a strong and confident woman. You are a very dear friend, and someone whom I love very much. Just like Hisao, I'll never forget you for as long as I live. Hanako, we are going to Scotland. I don't care, we are going. I may be leaving, but you have your own life here to lead. Just as I do. You have your own friends and hobbies and your own hopes after graduation. I want you to devote yourself to them, even after I'm not around anymore. Yeah, we are going to Scotland. This is why I think you will be okay. Because you are all your own self, with your own life. You yourself proved that to me. Hanako lowers her head in embarrassment, but nods as she does so. I understand. I know I have to say goodbye. I know you have to go your own way. But, you know, it still hurts. But thank you, Lily, for everything. Thank you, Hanako. Will you be okay? Sorry. By mistake, when I was in the folder, I triggered video that I'm supposed to edit yet. Anyway, there are a few seconds of silence before the answer comes. I will. Lee smiles, undoubtedly at least partly in relief. That makes me very happy then. Goodbye. Goodbye, Lily. And farewell to you as well, Hisao. Goodbye. I will miss you. She pauses for a moment before walking up to me. Her right hand outstretched in front of her takes a hold of my shoulder. Her left hand slowly and daintily reaches over my face, taking my cheek in her palm. For a while she simply holds my face, her fingers just slightly moving, taking its contours. Usually her hand would be warm when doing such thing, but the night air's giving her skin a cool edge. I'm not sure how long we stay like this. Her clouded eyes pointed just below my own as she wears a wistful, almost distant smile. Eventually though, I take her cold hand in mine. It's difficult to do so, but with a slight sigh I gently remove her hand from my cheek. I hope you have a long and happy life, Lily, no matter where you might go. Thank you. I make sure to. She takes a long, trembling breath before turning slightly towards Akira's direction. Akira. Okay. With a nod, she takes Lily's hand and begins to guide her to the car parked outside the gates. They both walk slowly and deliberately as if their movements had been rehearsed in advance. It's a strange feeling like this, you know, now, watching somebody leave Yamaku. The feeling of unease I have now reminds me. What? Oh, the feeling of unease I have now. Okay, I somehow lost the words of the beginning of the line. Reminds me of the first time I walked through those black wrought iron gates that always looked far too pompous for what they were. As they leave, all of us know full well that our lives are irreversibly changing. I'd always told myself that I just have to take life as it comes, but everything's changing so fast, so suddenly. In the end, Lily's an irreplaceable part of the lives of both Hanako and me. The noise of Akira opening the passenger door for Lily brings me out of my thoughts, her hand waving back as Lily gets in. See ya, guys. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, Hanako. Goodbye, Hisao. Hanako's hand quickly shoots up, her face brightened by her enthusiastic farewell. Goodbye, Lily. Goodbye. See you, Akira. And goodbye, Lily. The door shuts as we all put on our best happy farewell faces. Akira getting the car herself and starting it up in short measure. Lily's hand can just be seen waving through the tinted windows, both our hands waving high as well. Just As every other time I've done such things, I can't quite work out precisely why I, or Hanako, wait to her given that she's never seen us doing it. But it does matter. Even after that black shiny car goes down the hill and disappears into the dark night, we carry on waving and seeing Akira and Lilly off. And then, they are gone. A strange stillness takes over as our hands return to our sides. And I say, Hanako, wanna go on a chase to Scotland? I mean, I would do this in his shoes, okay? I don't quite know what I should do or how I should feel. In the end, we just stand there silently staring down to where the car disappeared from sight. Goodbye, Lilly. All I can do in response to her quiet, mournful goodbye is to place her hand on her shoulder. She looks at me for a few moments before looking back down the hill, secure in the knowledge that I'm still around for her. What we'll do from now doesn't seem all that uncertain. We all have our own ambitions now, just as Lilly said. But even so, it feels like there's a certain missing part in both our lives now. Something that can never be replaced. Okay, let's end the episode. We'll see what's gonna happen in the next one. For now, hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a wonderful day, and hopefully he decides to go to Scotland. Bye bye.